Hi, this is Kevin. Welcome to my tutorial on how to submit your work for the IS430 course. So right here, we're looking at the instructions for the first coding assignment, the one for Zell Chapter 1. And if we roll down to the bottom of it, we'll see, where are we? Oh yeah. So when I get down to start talking about submitting your work, under submission method, I say, follow the process that I demonstrated in the tutorial video on submitting your work. And I used to have one, but I changed the practices for this and I junked the video. And now you are asking me to re-record it. And by popular demand, here it comes. So I've explained this in the instructions as having three parts. Locating the properly named directory associated with your project in the file system. So we'll do that. Compressing that directory into a single zip file using a utility program. We'll do that. And submitting the properly named zip file to the submission activity for this assignment. I'm not going to do that because in the current semester we're using Moodle. In the fall, my classes are going to be using Canvas. Who knows when they're going to change it again. But when I get you to the point where you have a zipped file with the proper name, I think I can trust you to find your way to click on the proper submission activity in the learning management system and upload that file. The next thing I have in the instructions is some instruction on how to name your directory and how to name your files, and I'm going to be following that in this tutorial. Okay, so I'm doing this tutorial on Mac OS. We probably will take a peek at Windows 10 before we're done, but most of the work that we're going to do, I'm going to show you how I would do it on the Mac, and it's pretty comparable on Windows 10. Okay. All right. So first of all, it's a question of where are you going to put these directories? You're going to have a directory for each assignment that you hand in. Okay. So you can put them anywhere you would like in your file system. Now, I'll show you some suggestions. Okay. Since we're using a PyCharm in the course, PyCharm has a default directory that it tries to put your new projects in when you create them. So you can use that. I think it's called something like that, My PyCharm Projects or something like that. Okay, or you can create a directory to hold either all of your PyCharm projects, and you can put it wherever you want within the file system, or what some people do is that they create a directory for a particular class. I think the nice, for a particular course that they're taking. I think the nice thing there is if you take several programming courses, you're not going to have to sort through all of them. Okay, so let's look at what I've got under my username. At the very top, I've got this thing that I call My Python Course Projects. And this is essentially, at least it started life as a directory that was going to hold everything for IS430. So within that, I have all the coding assignments and the final project. But I have a lot of other things. I've got PyCharm projects that I use when I recorded tutorials. I've got some odd things that I did experiments with. Sometimes in the course, I talk about um, projects that I have that I do sort of experimentation with. Uh, the original one I have was called Frankenstein, and uh, that got kind of full, so I created one called Frankenstein 2. So I've got more than just the directories for this course, but the directories for this course, I think, all conform to the naming scheme that I have here, and sorry, they all look like, uh, why does that not work? Ah, yeah, they all look like that. Okay, so if I were to recommend an option, it would be to create a directory somewhere in your file system that's easy to find. Okay, for the directories and the files are going to be for this course, and that way they'll be easy to find. All right, and we're going to create a directory for each assignment that we hand in. Okay, and when we zip them up, it's okay to leave them in the same directory. So you can see for each of the directories that I have that represents my PyCharm project, when I was done, I zipped it, and I've got the zip files in here uh, with the directories, and that's a little redundant, but I don't care. All right, so that's what I've done. That's where I put mine. All right. Um, let's though, let's create a test directory. Okay, so I'm going to put mine. When I do experimentation, I like to go to downloads because I keep that empty. So I'm going to create a new folder, and let's act like I usually put a couple of underscores at the top because it causes the directory to sort to the top of when I'm looking at a directory listing and it's easy to find. And I might call this PyCharm projects for IS430. I might call it something like that. Okay. And now when I create my project, I'm going to do it in there. So I'm going to take that off. Let's open PyCharm. Okay. And uh, let's say we want to create a new project right here. Click on the button for new project. And it's a pure Python project. And it looks at right now it wants to put it into my Python course project because that's where I put it. But right now I'm just going to say this is going to go into well, you know what? If I click over here on the file folder, I think it'll bring up a thing. Yeah. So um, so what have I got? So I guess downloads is under my user ID. So I do that. And then I come, yeah, I've got downloads. I'm going to open that. And here's my PyCharm projects for IS430. And I've got that. So I'm going to click open. And then, of course, in PyCharm, you always have to remember to type in the name of your project up here. So, what's the name of my project going to be for the first assignment? Well, it says here that the name of the directory should be surname, given name, exercises, Zell 3E chapter 01. So I'm going to call mine trainer, Kevin, exercises, Zell 3E chapter 01. Well, you know what? I bet I can copy that. So I'm just going to copy that. All right. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to put it right here. Okay. And let's see, I need a virtual environment for this. And I'm going to use a previously configured one. Okay. And I'm going to go to the drop down. And it'll probably show me all the options that I already have. Okay. And here's a virtual environment that we created in Anaconda, and when we um, loaded up all the software for the course, it's called E4 Trainer Python course. So I'm going to pick that. So I'm putting it in the right location. I'm giving the project the right name. I am giving it the right virtual environment, and then I'm just going to click on create. All right, there we go. Now, it didn't used to be that you would get this main .py every time you created a new project. And I guess it's a good idea. I don't personally like it. So I'm just going to close that and delete it. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete it because that's not something that has to be in my submission. Okay. So if I look at my instructions for the first assignment, we have an exercise 1. We don't call the files exercise 1, exercise 2. There should be a name in each of the instructions. So here the name we're looking for is solong.py. Okay, so I'm going to create the first one is going to be solong.py. So I'm going to highlight the name of the project, right click, say I want a new Python file, and it's going to be called solong. You don't put in the .py because that's automatically added by PyCharm. So you hit enter on that. You can see here it says solong.py, and I'm not going to actually create the program. Okay, so that's for you to do. So I'm just going to put a comment in. This is a placeholder file because I am not going to give away the solution quite yet. Okay, how's that? And I'm going to click off of that line so it gets saved. Okay, and I'm going to close it. And if I open it up again, does it still have that there? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's pretend that I did my work. I did the coding. Now, I have exercise 2. So what's that supposed to be called? Well, we could see that's supposed to be called math101.py. Okay, let's create that. So again, I'm going to go up to the name of the project, right click, new, Python file, and what was it called? Math 101. Math 101. And again, you don't do the .py because it adds that for you automatically. So enter, math 101.py, and I'm going to say the same thing here. Not putting the code in this one either. I'm going to expect you to put the code in yours. Okay, and all right, so we've got that. All right, so now we've got the program. So let's just go see, is there an exercise 3? I don't believe there is. No. So now we're ready to zip up the project and submit it. Okay, so how would we zip up the project in Mac OS? Okay, well, here's how we would do it. We could close PyCharm. We're done with PyCharm, so we're going to close that. Okay, and I'm going to bring back my Finder, which shows me files in the file system. And I'm going back to downloads because here's where I've put my um, place. Again, why did I put it into downloads? Because I use my downloads as kind of a scratch area, okay? When I'm done, I'm just going to blow this away. So it downloads is for expendable files for me, okay? Because I've already set my system up somewhere else in my directory system for my computer, and I didn't want to create a new one over there. So I'm going to delete this one when I'm done. Okay, so what do I have? Well, I've got one project here. Okay, and if we open it up, we can see it's got the two programs. That's good. That's what's expected. So all I have to do is to zip this now. So I'm going to right click. Now I'm going to highlight uh, the project directory, right click, and I'm going to choose compress, and then it gives the name of the directory. And it gets compressed, and in the current version of Mac OS, the way I have it configured, it pops up a new directory window, and I don't know why that is. So I close that. But you can see here also in this directory that's holding all of my projects. Now I've got the zip file. So this is the file that in the current semester, which is the summer of 2021, we're going to submit that to Moodle. In the fall, we're going to be using Canvas, so we're going to submit that to Canvas, right? So this is the one that you submit. All right. Okay. Now, what if we wanted to do that on Windows? Well, I'm going to pause this and bring over my Windows virtual machine, and we'll just take a look at how we would do the zipping on Windows. Okay, so we're going to pause, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And through the magic of virtual machines, I have my Windows 10 virtual machine up. And we're looking at the directory that holds my PyCharm projects. And you can see that I have the folder here. Okay, and if I double click on that, you can see I've got the two programs in the folder, right? And so now we just have to see, how do you run the zip utility on Windows 10? Okay, and here's how you do it. You highlight the directory that you want to zip. Let's just highlight that. You right click, and in something that only makes sense to the people at Microsoft, in order to compress it, you choose send to, and then you pick compressed zipped folder and click on that, and you get a zipped folder with that I guess you can change the name of if you want, but the way that we've named the directory, that's how we want to name the folder, right? And so if we click off of that, that's going to be the zip file that we want. Okay, so now this becomes this becomes the zip file that we would, in the current semester, the summer of 2021, we would submit that to the Moodle assignment activity. And in the fall, when we go to Canvas, well, then there'll be an assignment activity in Canvas that we're going to submit the zip file to. Okay, and that is it. It's pretty simple stuff. If you look at the instructions, they should remind you of kind of the workflow, right? And then we've got some pretty explicit instructions here on how to name your the directory that we use for our PyCharm project, and then um, if you zip that up, then you'll get the naming scheme that we want for the zip file. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to say bye until next time. Bye bye.